Let's move on to some demos. This is just photographs that I've pulled from a website called Quick Poses, and I'll link that to you, don't worry. So first of all, I just wanted to start by showing you what is perhaps not that good of a reference, but you have to sift through them all the time, because I'm kind of working with what I've got here with the free images that I can find. But the thing with this drawing, it's not that bad. It's not the worst kind of drawing to do observational drawings about, but there are a few things that I wouldn't go for personally. For one thing, she's very pretty, and that's fine. Your subject can be aesthetically pleasing, but that's not what makes a good drawing subject. Sometimes ugly people are like the best people to draw for observation, and with someone like this, with someone who's got like, this is very smooth and featureless. Her arm is featureless, her legs are featureless, and there's a lot of subtlety in them. And nothing wrong with subtlety, but it's a challenge. It's hard to draw that. There's no real features on this, and that makes it hard to draw. If she was really, if she was fat and she had like crinkles here, like a sort of cleavage on these kind of parts, then that would be easier. That's a visual anchor. I'm looking for places in the image that are visual anchors. As well as that, her face is really the subject of this photograph. That's where it's focused, with the aspect ratio and the composition. And I don't want you to get lost in the details. And I feel like by trying to draw this, you're going to try and draw a very picturesque face and get lost in the details of that face, and kind of have that face decapitated from the rest of the pose. And so if you're drawn to the face in that way, which you will be because she's very attractive and the image is set up like that, if you're drawn to the face and you're just drawn into that, I think it's Clara Delevingne, then you're gonna be ignoring the other parts of the drawing, and you're not going to be able to unite the drawing. It's not going to be a one whole drawing, a complete thing. Also, the legs are cut off, so you can't see what is going on with the full pose. It's not the full pose. So I try to avoid drawings like that, although some of them will have those kind of things in there. I don't want you to just do crazy poses. Like, I had to sift through a lot of these to find good ones, and a lot of them are like, a contortionist doing the splits. But the thing is, most people, when you draw them, they aren't doing the splits. Like, how often do you see someone doing the splits? How often are you going to have an animation where the character is in the splits? Are they going to have their dialogue scene with them in the splits? No. So you should be drawing people in like normal standing poses as well. This isn't very good in certain ways. Like, what's she looking at? Why has she got her arm up? Has she got like a pet eagle, a pet falcon? Is that why? It's not very common. So this one isn't great either. That foot she wouldn't be stood like that. That's a pose. You see, that pose. So actually, I take it back. This drawing isn't good. But what I do like about it is that she's put her weight on this leg. You can see the weight has been taken off of this leg, and she's put it onto this leg, and that is natural. When we stand up, we tend to transfer our weight. I'm doing it right now. I'm moving my weight from one leg to another. So what's happened is the hips have come out. The hip has come out here, and so we've got that. And this is gravity that we're seeing. We're seeing gravity at work, and the law of nature, which I talked about earlier, I think, is that creatures naturally try to conserve energy. And one of the ways they do that is by just shifting about on their feet. It also keeps the blood circulation going. It's good for comfort and things. So it's a natural thing. So we want our poses to feel natural. So that's good. This isn't good. That isn't good. That is not good at all. That's so. So yeah, same thing really. It's a little bit harder to see with the getup he's got on, but he's definitely got the main weight on this leg. You see how it's straight like that, and then this one you can see it's a little bit more loose, a little bit more, not like massively. But yeah, this would be a good drawing to do. So let me just do that real quick if I can. Alright, that's all the time I'll give myself, I think. Yeah, kind of messed it up, especially with the legs. You'll see that I was sort of not looking at the whole body, and especially with the legs, I got caught up in the detail of those straps when I should have been focusing on the proportions. And therefore, the proportions at first they were too small, then they got too big. Right now with these, they're too big. You can see that the legs and the feet don't match it. The rest of it is fairly in proportion, I think, from what I can see. Yeah, didn't quite get the foreshortening on this. You see, it's actually coming out at us very slightly. You can always see when something's coming, like whether it's going back or forwards from the clothes. So I actually love clothes. I think that it's so helpful. You see how this is, this clothing line here, it's slightly curved down. Therefore, you know that it's slightly moving away from us. Here, the clothing line is up just a little bit, so you know that it's slightly coming towards us. And also with the wrist itself, you can see that there's a line here, and it's wrapped around like that. So you can see that it's coming out at us. It's not actually how I've drawn it. You see, I've drawn it like kind of flat, which is not good. Anyway, that's not a great one, actually. I've changed my mind about it. I don't like it that much because it's a pose. He's posing for the camera, he's looking at the camera, he's aware that there's a camera on him, he's not doing anything, he's just standing there, which is not good. This one's a little bit better. This is a good one for demonstrating the challenge that you have, which is simplifying the pose. So let's try and simplify it here. I'm going to try and not zoom in either. I'm just going to... Well, actually, I have to be very far zoomed out to see the whole thing. But let's just... I'm trying to not use Control Z too much, but... Yeah, that was alright. I mean, I didn't do it that well. I probably did too many lines. I decided here to simplify it by boxing these. So this I just gave as like a box. This I also gave as a box. And for the arms, I really liked this gesture that he's got on the arms, and it's obvious that he's for a moment jumped his legs off the floor, which I think is really nice. It's in motion. But yeah, I just figured I can just draw them like that, and it's communicated it all right. He's also a pretty skinny guy, so I think that worked all right. I didn't go into any detail on the head. I just did an oval, and I think that's fine at this stage. But for this kind of speed of drawing, I think that's all right. The feet are terrible actually, because look how flat that is. It's just assuming that it's flat. There's no foreshortening here, whereas actually the toes are coming out at us. Here, there's foreshortening here. So the feet were terrible, but at least I captured them in very few lines. Like I did just one line for the foot there, you know. So there's a bit of a trade-off there, I think, with how I did it for that one. Alright, next one. Clothes become part of the gesture. That's why I kind of want you to learn for this one. So if he's got loads of clothes on, those clothes are now part of the drawing. Don't ignore them, you know, and have a look at the shape. So this guy, he's made a shape. It's not a human shape, but it's an object shape. So it's like you know, we could separate the head from this because visually I think that head just sits on top for me. And then there's this, it's a box, it's a big old box with a little indent here. You see, if that was a square, this would be the negative space. There's something going on in that, but I'm grouping things into big areas of stuff. So for that one, I've grouped it into two really, and I've done this shape, which is just like an indented box. If I wanted to show if I wanted to think more about the 3D form, I could say, which way is the torso facing? Okay, it's facing that way. So we're going to create a cube instead. And this was actually going to be one of my later exercises I was going to show you, is how to angle things as a cube. So I'm not going to go into it in too much detail here, but you can box things out as well. I just realized I don't have a good color there because it's blending with the red of his undergarments. Anyway, yeah, we got a nice straight gesture of the sword, which is really nice to have as like a contrast to curves. You know, these things all have subtle curves in them, but the sword doesn't, and that's why the sword is quite a nice complement to the design. Anyway, let's try and draw it. Hey, wait a second. I just realized something. Why the hell is he holding a sword by the blade? Okay, anyway. I just realized that is really random, and yeah, just as my eyes went to it, I was like, hang on a second, he's holding the blade. What is he doing? So here, with the two hands, like fists like that, I can just consolidate them into one box like that. And just, you know, I've got a big brush here, so I've got to simplify it. So I'll just do a big box like that. It's good to simplify. When you simplify, you also are focusing on what's needed. This is too big, so trying to keep the measurements as well. But honestly, with these kind of drawings, with all my drawings, the measurements kind of come second to me. I care more about the energy, honestly. You might be different, but I care more about the energy. I care more about the gesture, the quality, and the communication, rather than if everything measures, if it's like perfectly the perfect width and height and stuff. I'm not saying it's not important, but I mean, I just personally, that always comes second to me. So I'd rather have something that's loose but has that energy. Okay, I'll keep it at that actually. Won't go any further into that. This one I thought was a really nice pose to demonstrate one thing, which is decisive breaks in the line. So remember that we had a challenge where we would just draw like a single line to describe something. But it's nice when you come up against these lines here, and it's just that line does a sudden change in direction there. There's a point there which I am focusing on. That's what I'm really looking at. So I would do line here, and then I'd go in the other direction, you see, and do it that way. So that break in the line is actually quite nice. These are all curved, right? And then there's a sudden bang. It changes direction, and that kind of looks cool, I think. Haven't measured it again. I mean, yeah, you have to forgive me. It's very sloppy measurements, but it's a gesture tutorial, not a measurements tutorial. Yeah. Okay, so that was really sloppy, but I wanted to mainly show that the break in the line there. She's very straight there. She's obviously a ballerina, because ballerinas always have this incredible posture, which is like they got a broomstick in their down the back of their shirt. Okay, for this one's got quite a subtle gesture, and what you might want to do is bring it out a little bit more. So what I might do for this is just you see the head angle that I'm starting, well, the face angle I've just done it a little bit more. It's a little bit more than what the photograph is, and this is what animators do all the time. You know, we push things, we dial them a little bit. Okay, so for this, I might just, you know, take it one step further and do it a little bit more. And that's creative, you know, it's creative to do that. Let's see. So I'm sticking the chest out more. She's slightly sticking the chest out, you see, but I'm really sticking the chest out because I'm seeing what she's trying to communicate, and I'm just going to do more of it. Taking that arm and putting it a little bit further away, because this right now it's a little bit too close, it's distorting the silhouette. I want to take it way further out. What's she got there? Sunglasses. That shoulder, she's got a nice, there's a really nice slope to her shoulders here with that angle, so I'm actually going to try and see, I'm going to need to update that head, and I'll, yeah, get a nice angle in with the shoulders. I know it's too big. Do that. Starting with an oval for the face. What have I done there? There we go. I started with a sort of oval for like a mask type face here. Maybe I'm exaggerating it too much. I don't know. I'm just trying to get the point across to you that you can push it. You know, this curve here, I'm trying to, like, I could actually bring that out even more. I'm trying not to go into detail either. I'm trying to avoid detail by just summarizing it. The hair is kind of swooshing out this way, right? So let me just, you know, I'll go bigger. Let's go bigger. Make it big and fun. You know, it's more fun to look at. We even have some strays here. Why not? What expressions she got? What's that expression? That's kind of indifferent. Let me make her more happy. Yeah, again, measurements are taking a back seat. Nothing particularly measured about this, but it's more fun. Okay, the pose in motion. These are what we really want to go for as animators, I think, and we should be trying to make our poses like this. I've already explained that, but yeah, look at this. This is great because I can tell he's actually in the process of moving. You couldn't pose a photograph like this. You could not stay still in this position. It would just be impossible. And also the fabric wouldn't behave like that. You see that fabric? It's lagging behind because it's in motion. You can't fake it. That arm is fantastic. Look how straight he's got his arm there. The form is fantastic on that. But yeah, we want to keep that. Again, the clothes are really helping us with the gesture here. Look at how gestural this clothing line is. It stretches all the way to the gluteus maximus. From the gluteus maximus all the way to the ankle there, we've got this one continual S-curve line. That's fantastic. That I would depict as being straight on the underside, just dead straight. Yeah, great pose. This one's great as well. I love these kind of baggy clothes with the wrinkles. They're fantastic. Look at that. We've got look at the form that it's describing there. You see how it's kind of cylindrical like that, and it's describing the cylinder, which is going to add greater depth to our drawing and make it feel like it's not just flat 2D shape. Some nice creases here, you can see. I mean, that's getting into detail a little bit, but yeah, very nice. Localized gesture plus overall gesture. So this one's got great overall gesture, like sort of that kind of thing, but it's also got nice localized gesture. So you know, in the arm, like if we wanted to look at just the arm, we've got this nice line here that's coming this way, but then we've got this line, and they interact with each other very well. Look at just this arm, and it's on its own. It's got this nice S curve. You see, just very nice, sort of like that. So even in certain parts, like let's say you had a a mid shot here, which is only the head and neck and shoulders. You can still apply gesture just as much. So it's not just for full body things where you should be doing gesture. Yeah, like this line here is lovely. You know, really nice line. This line, you see that you can see the muscle here, and then it connects to the knee. It goes down and it meanders its way down, and we're just looking at the leg here, you know. But as well as that, there's the overall gesture. But we've been focusing on the overall gesture so much, I just wanted to show you that gesture is on like every level of this. It's not just on one level. Objects have gesture too, especially something like this. Look at that lovely curve to this samurai sword. That's gesture, so you should put that in. Yeah, fantastic. Figure out the angles. So this one's quite nice for figuring out angles. You got to just have a look at, you see that's catching my attention there, that kind of angle. So I'm going to want to do that. I'm just doing it with one line for first of all. Well, let's make her a stick figure, because then we can just focus on the lines. Here she's got a really nice curve that's connected with the body here. So let's just put that in like that. And later we can figure out like this kind of stuff where we're actually doing the face there. That looks terrible, but you get what I mean. Yeah, the angle of the leg. You see, right now I did the angle a bit too much, so maybe I'll dial it back a little bit. But I'm thinking of angles there, like which angle is that going off on? I'm trying to mimic that one. I actually got it way off there. But like the ones that I think are the most important are shoulders, shoulder angle, hip angle can be important. It's not as important for this drawing, but like shoulder, hip, feet angles are quite important because they communicate a lot. Like where someone's feet are often indicate where they want to go. So if someone's foot is angled to the door, it means they want to leave. They want to get out. So it often sort of betrays someone's mind what their feet are doing. So those are feet. So those are the three big angles that I'm really interested in, and also head. The head angle, for obvious reasons, that's where we're looking. The head is important as well.